Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to today's Ask Me Anything SiteSwan webinar, coaching call, whatever you want to call it. We're here to help. I want to help. We've got a good amount of you folks here today. This makes me happy. It's a Friday morning, some for you very early in the morning, depending on where you're from. Let's talk about that. In the questions tab, let's say hello, make sure you can hear me and see me. Tell me where you're coming from. I want to know two things from you: how long you've been with us and how many sites you've sold. Those are the questions I want answered. That gives me a pretty good feel for the types of conversations we'll have today. So where you are, how many sites you sold, how long you've been with us. Those are the key data points that I would like to know so that we are in the best place possible for you today in terms of content. All right, Tamara says, Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, you've been here a couple times. Been with us since May. Welcome back. Meyer, welcome back. 33 sites sold. Love it. Michael's from Vegas. 2 weeks, no sites yet. That's the key word. Robert from North Carolina, 1 week, no sites sold just yet. That's quite all right. You're in a great spot. You're in the right place. Virginia, just over a week, no sales yet. Cool. So, I'm sorry, that was Vince from Virginia. Sorry about that. Percy's from Oklahoma. 1 site launched today. 2 in the pipeline. Began in June. Just began working my business last week. All right, cool. Rod's from Kansas City. 2 months in, 3 sites sold. James, what's up, man? West Coast guy. Been with us since the future. Wow, that's amazing, James. Been with us since May 2025. Since May 2024. 7 sites sold. Renee from South Carolina, 3 weeks, 3 sites sold. Oh, that's awesome. 3 weeks, 3 sites sold. We talked about this last time, didn't we? I think we did. That's a great statistic. Felix, I got your question, dude. I can't wait to answer these. Sold 1 site, 2 in the pipeline from NYC. Sold on June 30th, but got married and just got back from my honeymoon. How the heck did you manage to sell a site with 2 in the pipeline and you got married since you signed up June 30th? Congratulations, by the way. That's awesome. Dwight, 7 months in, 11 sold. Nice job. Sean just got restarted with SiteSwan. Sold 4 sites, 2 in the pipeline. Cabine from Philly, 4 months, 1 site. Oh, man, this is awesome. This is awesome. I think, Renee, didn't you just sell a site the last time we did one of these, that morning or something like that? If I recall correctly. I gotta look back at my notes. Meyer wants a SiteSwan client in-person holiday party. All right, you hosting? Sounds good. Renee's like, yep, that was me. All right, cool. Let's get into this. So some of you were nice enough to submit questions ahead of time, which I really, really, really appreciate, because then we can actually go into see, a little deeper into the questions that come up. So I have a couple of answers prepared for you. Let's go into those. So if my moderators would be so kind to load me up with our first questions, we are going to get this show on the road. All right, James, since you're here, let's go to you. So James asked prior to the registration, or with his registration, he said, please elaborate on, if you do a demo for a client and they're no longer interested, will that count against the number of demos I can do in a month? Please confirm what's the number of demos and or websites I can do in a month for the plan that I am in. Great question. So if you're on the SiteSwan 20 site plan, which I would imagine a lot of you are, the agency plan, that means you can have a maximum of 20 sites in your account at any given time. Whether it's a demo or a live site, the system doesn't care. If it's in your account, it counts as a site. Doesn't matter if you're billing for them or not. So if you send a demo out, things don't go well, it's still counting. If you delete that site, however, then you can replace it with another site. You'll notice right over here where it says deleted sites, we keep your deleted sites for about a week. So if you were on the fence about upgrading to the next plan, you could absolutely delete a site, keep it here for the time being. And then if for some reason you felt the need to restore it, you can do that. Just click deleted sites, and then you can restore these sites without a problem. All right. Then James also asked, remember you said it yourself, sales is a numbers game. It is. I totally agree with that. If I hire 8 sales reps that work remotely, nationally, or internationally, ooh, I like where that's going. What is the best way to not go through the prospecting tools limit? Can I limit the number of searches that each sales rep can use? If not, can we implement that feature or soon? Also, is that prospecting tool limit tied into building demos and or websites? And can I pay for more prospecting tool searches? So the way this works is that when you're conducting a prospecting tool search, we do have limitations on how many you can perform. Why? Because it's all data that we have to pay for. And that data gets very, very expensive very quickly. That's the short of it. So we can only allow a certain number of searches in your account in a given month. Now, when we say month, it's actually your billing cycle. Okay, so the very first day of your billing cycle is when it renews. So if you have hit your limit, you'll get an alert or an error message. And then starting with the next payment that you make, you'll be able to start searching again. The limit is huge, I'll have to say. We have a very, very, very high-end limit. If your people are exceeding that limit with the way they're searching, I would question the way they're searching. But we do have plans to allow you to buy up to additional credits so that you can continue to use the local prospecting tool beyond the built-in limit. We don't have any plans per se to limit the amount of searches per sales rep. I don't dislike that idea. We just don't have any plans for it. But it is interesting. So the short answer is you probably won't hit the limit. If you do, ping us. We'll see if we could do something for you in the meantime to have you pay for credits separately. We're working on the ability for you to upgrade yourself to pay for more credits if that time comes. All right. I don't know if Harmaine is here in our chat. Let me just see. Harmaine. But I want to answer Harmaine's question anyway, because it was a good one. And I think some of you might be thinking about this as well. Vince, I see you asking what the limit is. One of my moderators will get you an article on that explains exactly what it is. Don't worry, you're probably not going to hit it. All right. Harmaine says, I can't see my marketing website in search results. Uh-oh. I've gone through the SEO checklist. It appears I've done everything. The website's live. I can only access via link or the exact address, but not through the search engine results. And then Harmaine gave us the website link. So I will say that, Harmaine, I checked this before the call today, and you only launched the site on the 23rd of July. That was 3 days ago. So for those of you who are not familiar with the way this works, when we're launching a brand new site, a brand new domain name, it is unlikely that you will be getting search results of any significance this soon after launching a site. It's a little unrealistic. So you have to set your expectations first. To be able to expect your site to come up at or near the top of search results for anything is a little unusual this close to site launch. But I will say that I did a search and I did find your site coming up in search results. So let me just actually show you a screenshot that I was able to take. Can I do this? Can I show you this screenshot? Look at this. So Harmaine, if you're here, I hope you're here, or you're watching the recording. I did a search for your business name, and then you'll see your site is right here. So it's definitely coming up, at least for the business name. For other terminology in search, it might take a little bit longer, but it's definitely being picked up, which is great, great, great news. I'm actually a little surprised to see that it is 3 days after launching. That's unusual. So you're doing better than I thought you would be. So you are okay. Things are going perfectly normal. Do not panic. The other thing that I did notice is that your business name is WebWink Designs, but I think you made a little oopsie. on your About page, you're actually referencing a different business name. You have web, what was it again? Web. So first of all, WebWink, there are other businesses called WebWink. I would advise you to stick to WebWink designs throughout your entire site. Any mention of WebWink should be WebWink designs. And then you also are mentioning another business name. Where is it? I saw it before. I could have sworn I saw it before. Well, either way, your business name should be written exactly the way it appears on your site. Oh my God, I missed it in the bold web blasters. Hello, Justin. Read what's in front of you. So this is obviously not your business name. Maybe you went through a name change at some point. You're going to want to make sure this changes to WebWink Designs. I think that's going to help you big time. Those are my 2 tips. Otherwise, you did a fantastic job of sticking to the SEO checklist to get this site optimized for search. All right. We got a question from John Lovell. On our business site, he says, it is asking for client billing, but we're not paying for our own site, right? Right. Correct. I do not recommend charging yourself for your own site. So this could be misleading or confusing to some of you. Let me just show you exactly what John is referring to. So John's site, let's pretend this is John's marketing website. He sees that it says billing not set up. Set up. This is going to be the case for all of your sites, okay? We treat your marketing site exactly like all the rest of your sites for your convenience. But there's this one factor, and that it might be a little misleading that billing is not set up for your own site. Don't worry about it. You can completely ignore this because the billing status is completely separate from the website's online status. So long as you see online over here, you have nothing to worry about your site being live, okay? If you did want to, charge a client for the site, you click set up, choose the plan, go through it, pick it, enter the credit card information in, and complete the purchase. But you don't have to do that because it's your site. Okay. Jacob, welcome back. You've got 4 questions that I am going to attempt to address. Jacob says, number 1, are you going to establish a community for SiteSwan enthusiasts? I like that, SiteSwan enthusiasts. That means I think of like a car enthusiasts community. Jacob, I'll be honest with you. We want to do this. I know it's been asked before. I'm going to challenge you, okay? What are the top 3 questions that you would post in a Facebook community? I'm just going to say Facebook because that's like the most logical place my brain goes to when I hear community. What are the 3 questions that you would post into a SiteSwan enthusiast community that you would expect and want answers to? I'm just kind of curious because if it's something that we can't answer or shouldn't be answering, then even more so. But if it is something I can answer or we can answer, then I'd love to point you to that. Our biggest problem is just being able to effectively moderate it and, help the people who are very well established not get overwhelmed or bombarded by people who are just starting out. And then they just, they feel bad because they want to help other people. We all do. But when it's taking away from your ability to run your business, it could get a little bit overwhelming. The second thing that Jacob asked for, can't wait for this one. Jacob said, I have a theme request, window cleaning. And what do you know? We now have a window cleaning theme right there. This one is a beauty, folks. Go sell some window cleaning websites, please. This is a really kick butt theme. We just literally launched it this morning. So go check it out. Go sell some sites. This came out awesome. Jacob, take this and run with it. It's a coincidence, I believe, that we actually did pull this up. We didn't do it because you asked us to, but we did find there was an opportunity. On the topic of themes, I have some interesting news for you. You guys put in theme requests all the time, okay? Makes sense, right? You see an opportunity to build a site for someone. You want a theme for it. We don't have a theme for it. You try to rework a different theme. It doesn't work perfectly. You want a shortcut, but we don't have it ready. we are doing something relatively new where you can actually push your theme request to the top of the list. It'll get prioritized. It'll get done in about a week. And it's only $100. So I don't have the link for it. Maybe we can post it for anyone. If you write theme in the questions box, one of my moderators will post the link to that article that explains the service and how you can pay for it so that you can get the theme that you want pushed to the top, and then you can use it over and over and over and over again for all the opportunities you have in your web design career. Third question from Jacob. When you send a payment link, is both the setup fee and the recurring fee activated when the payment's made? Let's talk about this. Jacob is referring to the client billing feature, which I was just highlighting before. When we are setting up client billing for a client and we send them the request credit card link, which looks like this. They fill this out and they click submit. What happens next? I'll tell you what happens next. In your dashboard, you are now going to see a credit card number here. It's going to look very similar to it does here. You will see, well, actually, you won't see all this information. You'll see this part, card, American Express, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be here, okay? You will still have to then initiate the charge for that client. So all this form is doing is capturing payment information. It is not processing anything. Hope that helps. Jacob's fourth question is, if you have a client with payment set up and you want to charge them for something extra, does it affect the payment plan already in place when you send them a new link? And can you see the payment history and which plans are active? So that's a few questions there. Let's address the concern that Jacob has. Jacob's like, all right, I got a client, he's paying me a monthly fee, but now they want something different from me, which is a one-time charge. How do I do that? There's two ways to do it. The first way is that you log in directly to Stripe.com and you process the payment there. The second way is slightly more convoluted, admittedly. We're working on a more direct approach for this, but I will explain it if you want to do it the way I'm about to show you. What you are going to do is you are going to cancel the subscription, and then you're going to restart the subscription. And you make the setup fee, whatever it is, the amount you're charging them for that other thing. All you have to do is remember the date that you have the billing set on. So in this case, it's the 11th of the month. When I cancel and reestablish it, I want to make sure my first payment is set to go through on the 11th of the following month. And then my setup fee becomes the charge associated with whatever that thing is I'm charging them for. Don't need to send a new link, as long as they're using the same card, of course, and the payment history will be there. Hope that helps. Felix has 3 questions. The first question is, can you briefly cover how to build an e-commerce site, for example, Shopify? So when it comes to e-commerce, I get this question a lot. The first thing you have to understand is that building an e-commerce site is something that's going to take you a lot longer to do. The second thing you have to understand is that for the majority of people who ask about e-commerce, they are often not willing to take it to the next step and actually launch an e-commerce website. Why is that? Because there is a surprising amount of work involved in launching an e-commerce website. You have to have photos and descriptions. You have to have pricing. You have to have tax figured out. You got to have shipping figured out. You have to have the shipping logistics figured out. You got to have the boxes and the packaging. You've got to know when you're shipping stuff out. What's your return policy? What is your credit policy? How are you going to run any coupons or promotions or things? There's a million things to think about. Starting an e-commerce business is like starting a second business. That's the best way I could explain it. Even if you're selling the same stuff you're selling in the store, once you start doing stuff where you're fulfilling orders that you're getting online, it becomes a lot of work. So if your client is totally convinced they want to do this and they can produce all this stuff for you, then you have to decide whether or not you want to take it on. If you're going to use the built-in functionality of e-commerce that's on SiteSwan, we integrate with PayPal. So all transactions are processed through PayPal. Makes it easy. Generally speaking, when you're doing e-commerce through our platform, our built-in e-commerce feature, I kind of make a rule of thumb. If it's 20 items or less, fine. It's usually simple enough where you can make it happen. And a good example is take a gym that wants to sell t-shirts with their name on it in 4 sizes. Perfect. Great. Do it. If you have a restaurant that wants to sell, jars of their hot sauce or whatever, 3 different flavors. Fine. Perfect. Add it to the site. But once you start finding a business whose like sole purpose is to sell stuff online, that becomes a whole different monster. And there are several different opportunities for you to use third-party services to build out an e-commerce solution. Shopify, you mentioned, is one of them. They get really complex really, really quickly, which is another reason why you got to make sure that they're really committed to doing e-commerce. And you got to charge more for it, a lot more, because you're going to put in a lot more time. Even if it's just adding a few items to the site with the built-in feature, you definitely should be charging more, at least 50 to 100% more than you're regularly charging for a website, because it's going to take you more than 50% of your time additional each month to manage that client. Number 2 from Felix. I want to upsell reputation management. Can you review the nuts and bolts of this service? So we have a pretty good set of videos on reputation management that I want to refer you to, but I'll quickly just talk about this since it's on our screen. So the reputation management is all revolving around the fact that buyers are making their decisions of who to trust when it comes to local businesses based on the reviews they read about the business online. We all do this. We all look at reviews online because it influences our purchase decisions. So every business needs to be paying attention to what's being said about them online so that they can stay on top of their online reputation and make sure it's positive. Our reputation management service is 2 parts. The first part is a daily reporting system where we generate a report of all the reviews that exist online about the business and send it off to the client in a format that looks just like this. So they'll have the average star rating, the total number of reviews broken down by star rating, and the reviews broken down by source. And this is interactive. And then all the reviews ever posted about the business in reverse chronological order right here with links to view and links to share. This part of the service is great for 2 reasons. Number 1, this sells the service on its own. When you are selling this service, you are going to show them this report. You can generate a free report just like this for any business in like 2 minutes. You show them this and you'll sell them the service. The second thing is that this is a very valuable part of the service because people are kind of unaware of exactly what's being said about them online. So giving them some transparency into that is hugely beneficial and something that businesses are very willing to pay for. How much? Between $99 and $199 per month, in addition to whatever it is they're already paying you for the website. Part 2 of reputation management is an intelligent review request form. This gets installed on your client's site, preferably on a page called Leave a Review. And what happens is we give the user the option to select the number of stars, post their review, post their name, and optionally their email. And depending on if they select 4 or 5 stars, they'll immediately get pushed to a page where they can then get pushed to Google, Yelp, Facebook to post that review publicly. However, if the experience was not so good and was 1, 2, or 3 stars, then they'll get sent to a page that prompts them to have a conversation with the business owner privately. So it'll ask for additional feedback to try and get the person to open up about their experience, and that benefits everybody. It benefits the client, the end user, the customer of your client, because they can feel like they're being heard and get their issue hopefully resolved. And it benefits your client because they could prevent negativity from going public. After all, people just want to get their issue resolved. They don't necessarily want to air their dirty laundry. They just feel like they have to because they're not being heard by the business owner. So by being able to privately collect this information, everyone benefits. So again, reputation management is a 2-fold service: daily reporting, intelligent review request form. This is an additional service you do have to pay for. I will say that. It comes with a monthly charge of $14.99 per month per client. But obviously, when you're turning around and selling this for between $99 and $199 per month, your margins are fantastic. It's a great add-on service to sell, helps with SEO, and is actually a very easy service to sell as well. Also from Felix, question number 3. He writes, well, actually, finally, not a question, but a thank you. No, I'm going to blush. You're a visionary, not just an entrepreneur. With your approach to this business, I believe you're changing lives. You've definitely helped me map out the final phase of my professional development and life. Felix, that I can't tell you how much that means to me. You know, we started SiteSwan in 2011, and we did it to specifically fill a void that we found in the marketplace for building websites. And when we were doing that, we were working specifically with publishers of community newspapers because they had all these small business clients and they wanted to establish a form of digital revenue in addition to their print revenue, but they didn't know how to do that. So we built this tool really for them. And it wasn't until several years after we launched it that we realized that there were other people out there besides these publishers of newspapers who wanted to sell websites to small businesses and make a business out of it. And to hear that this has helped you not only, start a business, but also map out your professional development and your life. I mean, that means everything to me. It really does. And I'm so glad you're with us, Felix, and I hope you're getting the value out of what we're putting out there. So thank you for that. Tammy says, how do you explain search engine submissions? Do we only submit it to 3 search engines? Does this mean they are verified or claimed on these search sites? I charge $20 per month. However, I thought we were submitting their information to over 40-ish search sites. So Tammy's referring to the ability to submit your sites to the search engines, which is right here. And the process is very simple. You simply choose the site that you want to submit. You choose whether it's one time or monthly. Your margins are awesome if you're charging $20 a month for this. That's really great. And you click buy now. So what's actually happening? So we're actually telling the search engines about this site. We're showing them what's called the site map. And we're telling them about it, that they need to come index the site. Why is that helpful? Because as much as search engines do try to hit all the sites on the internet, there is a lot of them. So they're not good at always hitting all of them. But by telling them and reminding them and showing them, hey, come visit this page, and then they can see that there might be new pages or things have changed on the pages, you're setting a cadence for when they should check on the site, and that really helps with the search engines. So we send it to a wide network of search engines that pretty much covers 98 or 99% of all online searches. So you think of a search engine name and we're sending the information to them basically. There isn't a specific list because like if you just take like the Yahoo and Bing network, which is just one of them, okay, just that one alone services an incredibly long list of online search engines that are utilized. So that alone, like just by submitting to them, we're getting your information to a whole slew of search engines. It's great that you're charging $20 per month for it. And you'll probably notice a big difference with how quickly it gets picked up throughout the internet and how quickly they start to build up their traffic once you get this this site submission feature turned on. Tammy also wants to know, says, explain how or why Ideal Directories works and would benefit me. I love this topic. Tammy wants to know about our sister company, Ideal Directories. Let me talk to you real quick about it. Ideal Directories is a business directory software. So what happens is you can start your own local business directory in your town or city that is designed to feature all of the businesses, local coupons, events that are in your community on a site that you own. Why is this beneficial and how does it tie in? So the first thing that it can do is it can help you sell your clients something else, which is a listing on the site. It can help you give them additional exposure, which everybody wants. It can help you drive more traffic to their site by people finding this site and then linking to yours. And it's something that I've also seen work in the opposite way. I've seen people start selling directory listings and then upgrade them to a website. And I'll tell you the secret that I just recently discovered that I've only put out like 1 or 2 videos on, but we're going to start sharing a lot more of. I might even include it in the 14-day launch plan because it's that powerful. All right. Here's the idea. The idea is instead of, not instead of, but in addition to posting on social media, cold calling, warm outreach, all the fun stuff you know about the 14-day launch plan. And if you don't know about the 14-day launch plan, type 14-day launch plan into the questions box. We will get you help, okay? In addition to that, this is a really cool concept of building a business directory website, putting listings on the site for free, hear me out, and then sending off the listing that you build for the customer. Send it off to them. And then you say, hey, Mr. Customer, I don't know if you know this, but I run this local business directory coupon website on the side, and I put you on there because I feel like you could really benefit from having some additional exposure. I love what you guys represent. And, this is just a hobby of mine that I do. I primarily sell websites to small businesses like yours, but I really want to help you out with this. I think you could deserve, I think you deserve the extra exposure. And you send them the link. And then magically, they come back to you asking for a website. Usually they respond immediately saying, oh my God, this is amazing. This is so awesome. This is wonderful. Thank you. Let me show you a quick example. This is a real deal that just happened. I'm going to post a video on it. So this is a tent rental company. Okay. Real legit stuff here. Tent rental company that I crossed paths with this person. I can't even remember how. I crossed paths with this person. I had their information. I went and I created this listing for them. How did I do it? Add a couple listings. All this information comes in automatically. I pulled some about content, grabbed social media links. This is like 2 minutes of work. Okay, 2 minutes of work. I copied and pasted this URL. I sent it off to him in a text, showed it to him. He writes back, oh my God, this is amazing. This is so cool. Thank you so much. Fast forward 3 weeks. Hey, Justin, I'd really like to talk to you about a website. Fast forward 1 more week, and the site's live. Just like that. And we even have a really kick-butt tent rental theme that I was able to leverage for this. So it took me like 5 minutes. All right. This is an incredibly powerful way to sell more websites. And we're actually, you guys might have gotten an email about this if I'm not mistaken. We're actually running a pretty crazy promotion on this. So you could just disregard all the pricing that's on our site because you guys are getting an incredibly crazy deal by being a SiteSwan client for the remainder of this month. It's like a huge discount. So look for that email. If you haven't gotten the email, type ideal into the questions box, we'll reply with a link, and you can check out that offer. So this is legit. Robert Antko. Robert, let's see. Robert's saying, please explain the email notification in the reputation management column found in the pricing section of our marketing site. Please explain the email notification in the reputation management column found. Oh, okay. So you're talking about on your website. Let's just look if we could find. Let's look at our volunteer before WebWink designs. On the pricing page, if this person has kept the reputation management on there, yes. It says automatic email notifications. So you're like, hey, how am I offering this? I didn't even know this exists. I got you. When you set someone up for reputation management, you can't see it right now because you haven't set them up for it. Once you set them up for it, you will be able to add in their email address into a field. And then you can dictate or control how frequently they're going to get email notifications about recent updates to their reviews. You can set it to weekly, daily, or monthly. I should have done the other order. Daily, weekly, or monthly. And that's totally hands off. It's totally white label. No one will know that we're sending it for you. It'll appear to come from you. That gets sent automatically. It's a huge value for what you're charging your clients for. Robert also asked, what are the downfalls of having no SSL certificate? There is like 100. If you don't have an SSL certificate, you are running the risk of exposing sensitive information about the visitors to your site to who knows where you'll be exposing that information to. The other big thing is that Google is very protective of their users, meaning anyone who's searching Google, they want people who are searching Google to proceed in a safe way. So they are favoring sites that have an SSL certificate over those that do not. And that's why if you look at a local prospecting tool, and I don't know what I'm going to find here if I do tent company in our immediate area, you will find we have a column in the local prospecting tool results that shows whether or not their SSL certificate is valid. This one's not. So this is a really big reason why a lot of businesses need a new website, because getting an SSL certificate added on to an existing site can literally be $1,000 worth of development work by a developer, depending on the platform they're on, or more. Okay. So if it would actually be cheaper and more effective for them to just start over, because let's face it, their website probably stinks right now, and you can get them a better site and charge them a monthly fee that might be less than what they're paying, and everything's all included. So hopefully that helps. Halima is saying, what is the $50 per month fee for? So you're saying, I want to sell my client, I want to sell someone a website, I want to charge them $50, but what am I charging them for? I am going to recommend that you take a look at this video where I talk exactly about that. Clients for that monthly fee. Check this out. The title is How to Explain a Monthly Website Fee to a Client, and it's right from within your the YouTube for SiteSwan. So you can go to youtube.com/@SiteSwan, and then you'll find it there. Cool? Cool. Halima also said, I'm thinking of registering my website under another email address specifically for reselling websites. I don't know if I understand that. Do I have to register the business with the... I don't know. I'm thinking of registering my website under another email address specifically for reselling websites. I don't know what that means. If you can provide clarification, I'd be more than happy to answer it. You also said, do I have to register the business with the local authorities or something like that? And how is the process if I have to do so? So also the remark, I'm on lesson 7 right now. Great progress through the training program. I'd love to hear that. There aren't necessarily local authorities from my knowledge that you'd have to register with, especially in the States. But if you wanted to establish a business entity, like an LLC, an S Corp, whatever, then that would be, maybe that's what you're asking. You have the option to do that. You certainly can do that. I often recommend it. It's nice, there's a lot of benefits that come with having a business, but it's not necessarily a requirement by any means. Kabine says, how can I save the social media template as a picture to post them on my platforms for marketing purposes? I'm not sure I know what you're asking. Unless I'm blanking out, what's the social media template you're asking about? Or are you asking about the content that we recommend that you post to social media, which is not something you would save as a picture? You don't want to do that. So check this out. In the 14-day launch plan, okay, the social outreach phase, we have a area where you can copy and paste so that you can post a very compelling message to social media. It's right here. You'll copy and paste right from here. Don't screenshot this. Don't grab a photo of it. Copy and paste it. Okay. I did notice that sometimes if you copy and paste this, it'll keep these line breaks. So once you get back into Facebook, just take care of that. Delete the line breaks so everything just flows nicely. And then it'll look very professional. And that's what you're going to do. If I misunderstood that, Kabine, please let me know. Percy is saying, on the section of my website, I would like to add examples of my launched sites. How can I get my photos of the sites I created to look like the examples on the pre-built website examples? I would like my portfolio to match the samples of our high-quality work below. All right. I'm going to show you the absolute best way to do this. But it might take just a minute. Let me find your site. Where is your site? Percy, oh. Okay, the name of your site threw me off for a second. Okay. Let's pull up Percy's site real quick. All right, so on the examples page, we obviously have examples of the work. Now, what you have done is you have taken, well, actually, this is not what we give you. We don't give you this, so you took a different approach. All right, I don't dislike this, by the way. I think this is actually a creative way to do it. So what you did was you went to the preview page, or the preview screen for each of your sites, and you screenshotted that. It actually works pretty well. If you, however, wanted to make sure that it perfectly aligned with the way in which the sites look currently on the site, I'll show you a quick hack. So each of these images expands. You can click on it and you see the full version. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this image, okay? And then I'm going to load it into choose your program. Canva is great for this. If you're a Photoshop person, that's fine too. Load it into some sort of image editing software. If you don't know any of these, use Canva. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to load this in, and then you are going to take your site that you're trying to snap a photo of, and you are going to overlay it on top so that it matches the exact same dimensions. How do you take a snapshot of a site, though? I'll show you. In Chrome, I use this one. It's called Go Full Page. It's an extension. So you can go to your extensions thing, and you can manage extensions. You can find new extensions and add them in. There's one for Firefox called I don't know what it's called. But just Google full page screenshots into extensions Chrome or extensions Firefox or extensions Safari or whatever, and watch how cool this works, right? So here's the icon for it. I'm going to click it. I'm not doing anything. I clicked it. And now what it's doing is it's scanning the entire site. It's taking a snapshot of it, and it's going to display it for me as an image. There it is. Now this is huge, right? So I don't need all of this, but I'm still going to take this image. I'm going to download it, and then I'm going to bring that image into Canva. And when I do that, I am going to be able to overlay it so that it's the exact same size as the image that I just saved. Then I can save that new image and upload it into the same gallery on this page so that it looks just like the rest of them. So that would be the best recommendation for how to achieve that. If you need further clarification, submit a support ticket. By the way, I've just been told the Firefox plugin or add-on or extension, whatever they call it, is called FireShot. If you guys want the names of these, write screenshot and we'll put it in for you. So the one I'm using, and there's lots of them, guys, but what I'm using is Go Full Page for Chrome and FireShot for Firefox. Those are the ones we can vouch for at the moment. All right, what else we got? Clifton is saying, what is the best way to generate inbound leads? Inbound leads. There's 2 ways in our 14-day launch plan I'm going to recommend on that. And that is to go through the social outreach phase, which I know you're like, whoop, that's outbound. It's not. It's putting something out there which will bring people in. That's what inbound is all about. How to generate inbound is you got to first put something out there to draw people in. It's like fishing. Fish don't jump out of the water to you. You have to put bait in the water for them to bite onto. So Facebook is a great way to do that. Social media. The second way is your warm outreach. When you are asking the people in your social network for a referral, for if they know anyone, if they might know anyone who could be interested in a website, that is a form of inbound. If you want to, you could certainly run some ads if you have the budget for it. That stuff gets expensive though. If you want to keep your costs down, do these 2 things. I don't recommend not doing the third phase, which is cold calling, which is cold outreach. And by the way, I say cold calling, but it's really just cold emails and yes, some cold calls and cold texts. It's not just like being a telemarketer for 10 hours a day. It's not that. Go through that phase. I don't care if you hate it. Go through it. You will not regret it. I promise you. Let's see. Then we got Pamela. Pamela's saying, if I switch to the SiteSwan billing plan, I think you mean client billing, can you do checks in ACH? Thank you. So not at this time, but if that's the only way that you believe you'll be able to keep your clients is by paying via ACH, I'd be a little surprised by that, but let us know, okay? We always are looking to make that client billing feature better. We haven't really had any requests for that, but I would definitely love to hear you out. Try it with a couple people first, okay? Try it with a handful and be like, hey, we're using a new billing system. Here's a link. Submit your credit card information, and we'll take it from there. See how that goes, okay? Vince is saying, does anyone have any experience with cold email outreach services such as Instantly? Cold email outreach services like Instantly. If anybody wants to put in their 2 cents, I haven't any experience with this. If anyone does, is this it? Instantly sales engagement. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. I can't answer that question effectively, Vince. I'm sorry. I would recommend, though, if you're talking cold outreach, do some cold outreach yourself first. It'll help you understand the value you can place on doing cold outreach. Or I'm sorry, it'll help you understand the value you can place on having someone else do cold outreach. Because without you having done it yourself, it's hard to say how much you can justify having someone else do it for you. Also from Vince, if creating a site for a restaurant, is it complicated to add menu, DoorDash, Uber Eats, etc.? No, in fact, if you look at a lot of our themes for restaurants, which I'll just pull one up now. So I'm going to go to food, beverage, and hospitality. And look, like this one right here. All this is, by the way, is just images with links to those sources. Did I just skip over it? Hello. These are just their logos that are linked up. Well, they can get linked up to the URL where people can start their ordering from DoorDash, Seamless, or Uber Eats. Or you want to use a different one, Grubhub, swap out the logo. Really no big deal. Very, very easy to do. Instantly, not instantly. What's the other one you mentioned? You didn't mention the third one. DoorDash, Uber Eats. If you want to add a menu, though, you can do that. We have a built-in menu feature, okay? And it looks like this. You can add an image, title, description, price to each and every product on the menu. People won't order from here, but at least you can show people what it is that they can order when they choose to order online or call you to order. Also, Vince is saying, can you recommend a vertical for a new reseller to call on that generally doesn't require a complicated setup? Vince, almost none of the businesses you're going to call on are going to require a complicated setup. If you run into that, I'd love to hear about it because that's not common. So when it comes to our recommendations, I want to once again refer you to the 14-day launch plan. And from here, when we look at the cold outreach section, we do have a list of all of what we consider the best industries to target right now. Look at this list. Conduct some searches in the local prospecting tool for your area with these industries. You will be delighted. Paul says, would you please explain the difference of one-time and monthly submissions for SEO? Sure thing. So one's monthly and one's a one-time. I'm just kidding. Here's the deal. When you submit the sites to the search engines, it's a great thing. It's you have to do it. You got to tell the search engines that every site you build exists because it's going to definitely push things forward in terms of the site's appearance in search results. But it's even better to do it on a regular basis because every time a change is made to the site, which a typical small business isn't changing stuff on their site more than like once a month. But that's the cadence that we send or we alert the search engines that they should check the site again. So what this is ensuring is that any and all changes that are happening on the site are being effectively communicated to the search engines on an ongoing basis. You'll never have to think about it moving forward. Jesus is saying, anyone have any success with cold emailing? I'd be surprised if no one did. Cold emailing. One thing I want to let you know about, Jesus, is that when you're doing cold emailing, if you're using Gmail, there is a limit in how many emails you can send outbound to brand new email addresses every day. It's a daily limit. I think it's like 30-ish, okay? So if you are exceeding that because you're aggressively emailing, there are services that they call them like inbox warmers or warm up your inbox. Or you can also just create multiple email addresses and then do it that way, or utilize other forms of communication, direct messaging on social media, calling, texting, whatever you can do. Also, Kabine is saying, I got an email yesterday on Stripe raising their fee. Is there another way to use some sort of platform for payment? Kabine, they're all doing it. They're all doing it. Primarily because there's this movement of people thinking they could somehow not accept credit cards, so they're trying to collect cash instead. So the credit card companies are like, hey, whoa, we still have to make our money. So the fees are just getting passed down. I don't think you're going to save any significant amount of money by switching. Stripe has so many things going for them in terms of convenience, functionality, reliability, security, all that fun stuff. But I don't have anything that I can recommend. By the way, I'm being told that Instantly, which Vince asked about, does appear to be an email warmer. It's either part or all of their service. So if Jesus, you want to check them out, maybe that's something you can look into. Jesus also said, and we're getting to the end here in terms of questions, so if you have any final questions you want to make sure we answer, please post them now. Jesus says, Justin, can you recommend a scheduling service for us and a way to seamlessly add a meeting with a client so we don't have to manually add the meeting to our calendar? Yeah, we have an article on this in our support section, which is looking kind of funny to me. Oh, hey, it looks normal again. Oh, wow. For the past 2 weeks, all of a sudden, all these categories were limited to 5. And we went to the provider and we're like, what's going on? How do we only have 5 categories now? I'm like, oh, that's a change we made. You can't do anything about it. I'm like, what? You have to be able to do something about it. So it's back to normal. Great. So if we type in schedule, here we go. 2 softwares we recommend. Calendly, we use it ourselves. Schedulista, heard a lot of people use that. Those are great services you can look at. All right. What else? Sean. This is literally the last question I have seen, so if there are others, you better get them in. Sean said, is there a way we can send a demo site to a client's phone without typing a long URL in or emailing it to them? Sean, I'll tell you why you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this because you shouldn't be sending a link to someone's phone. There's 2 reasons for that. The first is that someone's first impression of the site is best seen on a large screen. Their first impression should not be on a mobile device. You want to show them the beauty of their site in as large a format as possible so they can appreciate all the design effort that went into this. The second thing is that when you are showing off a site to a client, you're never sending it and forgetting it. That's the biggest no-no. You do not do that. You have to do what's called a homepage presentation. If you have not seen the video on how to do a homepage presentation, let me show you. From the resources section of your dashboard, we have these beautiful training videos. And lesson number 9 is how to present a website demo to a prospect. The protocol for the sales process states that when you get a homepage design scheduled, that's something you are going to schedule. You are then going to get them on the phone and walk them through the design from top to bottom. Watch this video. It'll explain why you'll never need to do what you're asking me to do. Unless there's another reason you're saying this, but you won't need to. What is this? Meyer's saying, roast my examples page. All right. Meyer, here's my beef. Here's my beef. First of all, no one likes your logo as much as you do. All right. I actually say this in one of the lessons in the training. No one likes your logo as much as you do. No one will ever like or love your logo as much as you do. I do not recommend having a logo this big. This is more of a site design thing. With that said, I do not like the idea of you saying to your potential clients that you're utilizing themes. Because what I can imagine myself hearing when someone says this to me is, I'm not putting any effort into your site design. So I strongly recommend you do not mention that you are working off of themes. And look, you're killing it. You're selling sites. So I kind of don't want to give you too much advice in this department, but for anybody else, because maybe you have some secret sauce you're doing, I don't know. I'd love to hear it. But for anybody else, you want to make it so that when you're talking to someone, they feel like they're getting extremely personalized service, regardless of the fact that you're actually utilizing a theme to build their site. That's not something that we like to disclose because they don't need to know it. And it doesn't add value. It takes away value from what you're offering them. So when we're making an offer and presenting our service, we want to have as much value in there as possible. And when I see this, it kind of takes away from it. So I'd scrap all this if I'm honest with you. I would take all of these themes out and just leave a couple where look, you have enough clients. You said you had 30-something clients. Just put those here. Just put those here. Make this a legitimate portfolio. I wouldn't do examples. So consider your examples page roasted. Thank you for volunteering. And sorry if I was a little harsh, but just trying to be truthful. Pam, can you please explain the difference between global SEO and page-by-page SEO? I would love to. I love this question. So Pam is saying to herself, what the hey, guys? I go into my client sites, I go to the settings tab, and I see I can put in title, description, keywords. And then I go to my pages tab and they're blank. What gives? So I'll tell you, the settings tab is a great starting point for loading up SEO terms because these are going to be sort of, I'm going to say, generic, and they're not page specific. They're talking about the business as a whole. And these terms automatically get applied to each and every page of the site. Now, it's a great starting point for SEO, but the ultimate in SEO is to have page-specific optimization. So the home page, you might be just fine using your global settings. But when you get to like the Our Services page, for example, or even the About Us page, uncheck this box and put in title, description, and keywords that directly relate to everything that's on this page. The meta tags are supposed to be reflective of the content that's on the page. You can't trick the search engines by putting stuff here that doesn't exist on the page. And you also can't trick them in the opposite way either. It's best to have consistency. So we do have an article on page-specific SEO that I'm sure one of my moderators will send you a link to, where you can understand kind of the ideal format for how your title, description, keywords should be set up on a page-by-page basis in addition to on the global basis. So when you're doing page-by-page SEO, page-specific SEO terms, you are definitely stepping up your SEO game, and you will notice an improvement in your client's performance in SEO. All right. I think we're going to stop here unless one of you begs me to do something else. All right. Perfect. Before we wrap up, I want everyone to quickly put in the questions tab one thing you took away from today's chat. I want to make sure that what we're talking about today is helpful to you all. If it's not, I want to know because I want to do better next time. So one key takeaway, one key thing that you said, wow, this made my time here worth it today. Post it in the questions tab. I want to hear what it is. I want to see if any of you have the same answer. We piqued Michael's interest on selling reputation management. That's cool. Christy found that the info on sizing images, like the gallery examples, was very helpful. Awesome. Tamara liked learning about the submission tool. Percy liked adding an image. Please send email with instructions. Oh yeah, guys. Can I do it? I'm going to ask my moderators real quick. Can I preview something we have coming out soon? Go full page, fire shot, says Andre. Yeah. Felix thought reputation management was a huge takeaway. Robert really liked Felix's. Robert says, I second Felix in the gratitude for rounding out my end career. That's awesome, Robert. I appreciate that, man. Meyer says, I found out I'm the only one that likes my logo. Vince says, the info you shared about how to add a menu, etc., was very helpful. Ed says, learning about how the sites are being counted is helpful, though he's a little upset that some sites that are no longer a customer, either out of business, they sold the business, that is slow season, etc. These unpaid sites count towards the sites under the plan that he has. Look, if they're heavily leveraging themes, who cares? Just delete them. Or you know what? Use the when I showed you these full page screenshots to screenshot them. You could definitely do that. But look, also, Ed, if you wanted to upgrade, going from paying $200 a month to $300 a month and getting all those additional sites, you just load up your account with all this stuff. And, it might be good for you to have, a reference point, right? Because you could use site duplication. Remember that. You can duplicate your sites. So if you have another client who has a need for this in the future, you can just duplicate that site, build it for them, and you're off to the races. So that's something to think about too. The upgrade isn't that much. There was a time when we only had a $300 a month plan. The only way you could sign up for SiteSwan was at $300. Cool. You guys have been great. This is great. I like doing these a little earlier on a Friday. Everyone's still awake. This is great. Maya says, can we duplicate our site and save it offline? Of course you can. Yep. Cool. Everybody, thank you so much for doing this with me today. I can't thank you enough for being part of the SiteSwan family. A lot of you guys are super new. I love it. I love it. You're here. The fact that you're putting in time on a Friday morning, beautiful, at least in this part of the country, beautiful Friday morning to work on your business, I think says a lot about your ambition and drive and determination to succeed. So pat yourself on the back for it. And thank you for your participation, because we can only do these if you guys participate. So you guys are the best. Have a great day, a nice weekend, a nice Friday. Carry on. See you later.